This is my third time filming this video. Hi BookTube, I am Rebecca and today I'm talking about the books that I read in January. Again! I did a lot of rereading in January and also read a lot of novellas, so I got through 8 books in total. The first 2 books I read are All Systems Red and Artificial Condition by Martha Wells. These are the first 2 books in the Murderbot Diaries. My heater is so loud. That's what that weird creaking sound is. I don't know why it does that. All Systems Red was a reread for me. It is about a SEC unit that has named themselves Murderbot. They have like hacked their systems and no longer have to obey the commands that other people give them. It currently still does obey commands because they don't want people knowing that they've been hacked, but in their free time they watch a lot of television, especially TV shows that they really love and have seen a bunch of times before. A lot happens in this little novella. I was so glad to reread it because I was able to follow along with all of the characters and the plot so much more, and I love Murderbot more than ever. Also because, goddamn, I loved Artificial Condition. This was such a fun continuation. I don't really want to talk too much about the plot, but there are a lot more characters added, and it's just delightful and intriguing, and I love this whole futuristic world that Martha Wells has created. I love how different people are. If you were to go far into the future and far away from Earth, like, we wouldn't have the same idea of family and marriage that we do now. Not everything would be so heteronormative. There are a lot of multiple way marriages, like people in a marriage altogether, and that's just very normal, and I love it. It's great. I think it's important when you're writing sci-fi, especially when you're writing so far in the future, that you take into consideration the fact that humans are going to be really, really different. And I don't think you have to invent a new language. I think that's what a lot of sci-fi writers of books and movies and TV shows think. They're like, oh, humans are different. We'll make fun words for swears. I don't necessarily mind that, but I don't think that's the necessary part of humanity that you have to change. I think you have to change, like, some core values of humans, because I think that's going to change with time, because it's changed with time that we could see that we have records of, so why would we be the same? Anyway, next up I reread The Hobbit by JRR Tolkein. I'm not going to tell you the plot of The Hobbit. I think you got it. It's about a hobbit. I hadn't read this book since I was 13, so it was really, really something to go back and read it again, because it was... I've been in this world a lot because of Lord of the Rings, so in a lot of ways some of it was so familiar to me, and other parts were like, I didn't remember them at all. So it was a very strange and wonderful experience. This is a world that I will constantly want to go back to. I find it so very comforting, and it was kind of just what I needed last month when I wasn't really feeling very well and I was in a massive slump and I just needed something like this. So going back to Hobbits and the Shire is always so warm. Next up I read My Time Among the Whites by Jennine Capó Crucet. This book got a lot of attention because some kids at a university were burning it after Jennine had spoken at their college, which is like horrific, and what year is it? It was clearly a book burning orchestrated by a bunch of white kids who had never read the book. I feel like it is a book that is getting criticism from white people purely because of the title, much like Dear White People, like the show and the book. People getting heated up purely based on the title alone, and it's ridiculous. This book is a collection of essays that Jennine wrote, mostly about her time in an Ivy League college. It's a really quick read. I definitely recommend it if you are at all interested. Definitely supporting Jennine and whatnot because of the bullshit that she has had to go through. It was very quick. It reminded me, I talked about it in my vlog a little bit, but it did remind me of a little bit of You Can't Touch My Hair by Phoebe Robinson. Next up, I finally read Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. Just in general, I finally read a fucking Seanan McGuire book because I have had her books on my TBRs for so long. Like, before I had a channel, well before I had a channel. I think I had Feed under Mira Grant, though. Like, she writes under 2 names. How is she writing all these books, by the way? What the fuck? I'm not gonna tell you the plot of Every Heart a Doorway. I think you all know what the Wayward Children series is about. I'm glad to finally be reading them so I can know what the hell y'all are talking about all the goddamn time, because, like, everyone's talking about these books. But it was so great. Definitely my kind of, like, weird fantasy. Really enjoyed it. I also read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the second one. Jack and Jill were, like, my favorite part of the first book, so I was excited to get their story. However, I don't in general like prequels, so I didn't connect with this one so much. In particular, I feel like Seanan McGuire did such an epic job of giving us Jack and Jill's backstory in Every Heart a Doorway in like a tiny little bit of time that it all kind of felt a little redundant to me, to be honest. I did love the world, and I love Seanan McGuire's writing so much that I still found it enjoyable. But like in particular, like the first little bit of this book, and it's a novella, so even the first little bit is like a large bit of the whole overall novella. It's all about Jack and Jill's parents before Jack and Jill are even born, and why they shouldn't have had kids, and why, like, how they messed up, and all the things they did wrong. And I really felt like this was all in particular redundant, because I knew all this. I knew exactly who Jack and Jill's parents were just by the little bit of description she gave us in Every Heart a Doorway. So, I did enjoy this book, but it just didn't feel like 100% necessary, which I feel about every fucking prequel I've ever read or watched in my life. I'm just not a fan, really, at all. People always talk about they want, like, prequels with Harry Potter, with, like, Harry's parents, and I'm like, why? I don't care. Like, I don't know what it is. We know how it ends. Like, what? Next up, I reread Epic Crush of Jeannie Lo by F.C. Yee. This was one of my favorite books in, I think, like 2018. I don't really remember. Now that I've reread it, I would 100% put it in my favorite books of all time. This is just my exact sense of humor, and I so adore it. I just love this book so much. This is about a girl named Jeannie Lo who's in high school and, like, frantically trying to get ready to apply to colleges and whatnot, and she meets the new kid in school, Quentin, who says that he is Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, and she must help him destroy a bunch of demons that are coming to San Francisco. It's so good and so fun, and I love Genie and Quentin so much. I like that Quentin's short, which is why it was recommended to me in the first place, because as you all know, I'm always looking for short male love interests. I just want it in my life. We need more. Please stop making these 16-year-old boys like 6'4". That's not what children look like. Do you not know? Even adults. Do you know, like, the percentage of people that's over 6 feet? It's honestly not that high. Not in America. Like, the average is, like, whatever. Just stop making everyone over 6 feet tall. Anyway, I want Epic Crush of Jeannie Lo to be the book that I push on y'all. Like, please read this book. It's so funny and fun. It's just really fun. The action sequences were great, and oh, the banter killed me, and the characters are delightful, and it's so good. I will reread it, I think, every year. It's become now. I also picked up the sequel recently, and by picked it up, I mean I bought it and looked at it and went, I'm not ready, and then didn't read it yet. I'm not good at things ending, so I don't want to say goodbye. The last book I read in January is Collateral Damage by Taylor Simonds. Taylor found me on Twitter a little while back, and we've been mutuals for a little while now. She likely found me because writing Twitter kind of is just connected a lot of the times. You will never, like, see me on this channel, like, bashing a book or doing rant reviews or anything like that. I might occasionally bash, like, a very famous author. Not naming names, but we know. However, I want to become a writer myself. I'd love to get published, and it feels like slightly unprofessional to, like, do rant reviews and just kind of shit on books. I love consuming that content, by the way. No shade on anyone who does those videos. They're delightful. I just don't personally want to film them. However, I also won't lie. I do want to get published one day, and I would like to be kind to fellow writers, especially, like, debut authors and whatnot. But I'm not going to stand here and rave about a book that I didn't love just to be nice. That's just not something that I think anyone should do, right? So while I stand here today and look at you, look in your beautiful eyes, which look like my camera lens, and tell you that I loved this book. I loved this book. Like Epic Crush of Jeannie Lo, this just hit my sense of humor in all of the right places. This is about a girl named Meg who lives in a city where superheroes just kind of exist, and they don't really care when they fuck shit up and they ruin buildings and kill people by accident, and her car gets destroyed at the very beginning, and it's just the norm. Meg is looking to get out of this city, however she accidentally finds the dead body of a superhero and gets caught up in all these conspiracies and the mystery of how he died, and a lot of stuff. There's so much action in this. I have no idea. Taylor, like, how do you write action sequences like this? Like, I can't do it. I try so hard. I'll sit down and then I'm like, how do you punch somebody? You just go out and like pick fights with people to like figure out how it's done? Scampy little gal beating people up and watching Tangled. There was a lot I really liked about this, aside from the sense of humor. It was mostly the sense of humor and the action scenes and the characters. Meg herself was great. She's very bitter. Bitter in a way that's supremely relatable. She's struggling a lot financially, and if you ever have like really struggled financially, you know that like the cynicism that can take over and how you often need to use your sense of humor to just kind of get through it, and that was very relatable in this book. I really loved Meg. I kind of want to like adopt her. I'm getting old. I really am getting old because I just wanted to be Meg's mom. Like, can I do that? Like, can I just be Meg's mother and like make her dinner every night and bring her to the doctor? Is this getting weird? There's an epic found family in this. Honestly, I don't ask for sequels a lot. I would take a sequel of them just all like hanging out on the couch and watching TV because I think it would be great. I think that would be a great sequel. I love romance in books, but if this is something that interests you, there's no romance in this novel. And I feel like I never have good recs for people who are looking for books that don't have romance. However, I feel like I had to wade through so many books that had like a romance I was just really bored by because the two main characters like had to get together. And in this one, like, I really loved the two main characters together, and of course they didn't get together and they stayed friends, which is great, but at the same time, like, they were so cute. I was talking to Sarah about this, and she explained, like, authors, you know, if they're going into a book with a romance in mind, they're gonna, like, stage it a little differently. And I don't like a lot of the romance arcs that are very popular in books, mostly, like, hate to love or enemies to lovers. It's just not my favorite. So, like, when those stages are laid out and they're like, well, they gotta hate each other and then they gotta get stuck and blah, blah, blah. It's just, I prefer when they're friends first. So, when a relationship starts out and they're really good friends, that's, like, what I'm shipping. I'm like, let's go. This is great. This book has, like, an abysmally small number of reviews on Goodreads, so please pick this up if you're looking for something just, like, legitimately fun and mysterious and so action-packed. If you're interested in action scenes, this one's great. No romance, great found family, super fun characters, like legit, like, funny moments. Like, I laughed out loud. I am fairly easy to make laugh, so I'm always, like, reluctant to, like, recommend comedy to people because I'm just quick to laugh. And, you know, whatever. But still, very funny. Not just, like, dialogue-wise, like, there's just, like, funny visuals in it. Like, the protagonist, Meg, works at this cafe, and her best friend works at a pizza place next door, and there's just a giant hole blown in the wall that both owners refuse to fix, so she and her best friend can, like, chat with each other while they're at work through this huge hole in the wall. It's great. So those are the books I read in January. If this video didn't work out, I'm not fucking filming it a fourth time, so let's hope it works. Join me next time when I'm hyper on coffee, as always, and probably in the same outfit because I'm hoping to film more than one video.